Hi everyone, my name is Stefania and I'm part of Keela's customer care team. In today's video, I will be walking you over the process of creating and sharing a Keela donation form right from your Keela account. The first step to go ahead and create a Keela donation form would be to go over to our forms tool over here to the left. So once we're on the forms tool, we're going to go ahead and create, and we're going to use our new form builder to use our new donation forms that were released a few months ago. So we're just going to click here, new form builder, and we're going to switch here, decide for a donation form. And you also have the ability to create a subscription form with our new form builder. And I'm just going to go ahead and click next. And we have three different types of forms right now. So we have a pop-up form, which would be a form that you can embed into your website. That would be a pop-up. Then you have an embedded form, which would be a form that you can embed as part of your website. Or you can also do a standalone form. So you can decide which one works best depending on what you want for your organization. Something to keep in mind is that for pop-up and embedded forms, you will not have access to the QR code that we provide on our old forms. So for the purpose of this training video, I'm going to go ahead and do a standalone form, and then I can show you the sharing options for embedded. You can decide here for a multi-page page layouts, or we can do one-page layouts. You can decide which one works best. We always recommend as industry best practice to actually do a multi-page layout, as donors can go through the process of adding their information and clicking next. You can go ahead and give your form a name. So we can do Giving Tuesday 2022 as the name of this form. You can link it to a campaign. So if you have a campaign for your Giving Tuesday, you can go ahead and link it to the campaign. You can add a description for the form, and you can add an assignee. So the assignee is always going to be the person that is creating the form. And then you can add in any followers, and the followers will be notified when there's a form response. So in this case, I want Nicole to be my assignee and my follower. So once the form has been created, this is the first page that you see here, and we're actually going to go over to our designer, which is where we're going to go ahead and design this form. So in this case, you can see that we have here the basic image and all of this text, and this is things that we can go ahead and edit. So we can go over all of them one by one. The first one would be the donate. So you can change the header here. So donate to our Giving Tuesday campaign could be what we add here. And then you can add in any description, or you can just leave it empty. So this is a form for our Giving Tuesday campaign. So you can add that there. So for donation frequency, you can go ahead and change that name as well, or you can keep it that way, but you can have the ability here to change it. And then we have three different types of asks. So you can do donation tiers, where you can go ahead and set up the amounts. You can do impact areas simple, or you can do impact areas detailed. So the difference between simple and detail is for detail, you can set up the amounts, and then simple is just going to be for the impact area. So you can either choose here which one you want for default. So if you want default to be monthly or one time, in my case, I want to do one time. And here you can edit the intervals. So we have one time, weekly, monthly, or annual. So those would be the intervals over there. And you can also enable Smart Ask if you want, and that would turn this off if you want your form to use our Smart Ask Keela Intelligence component. But for the purpose of this one, I'm just going to choose here the tiers, so you can decide which one you want it to be the default and how many tiers you want. So you can add more amounts. You can edit the description here. So let's go. And add the description, add another amount if you want. That's how it's going to look like, and you can choose which ones you want for default. And you can also make the monthly amounts different if you want your to target a different amount for your recurring donors that decide to donate monthly. If you choose here monthly, that's what you get. And then we always have turned on here the custom donation amount. And we always have here cover processing fee, and we have it selected by default. So you can also turn this off if you don't want it. And donation dedication. So if you want your donors to dedicate their donation, you can turn this on and off depending on what you're looking for. And you can also add questions here if you want more information to get from the donor. So you can have all of this personal information, and your custom fields are going to come in here as well if you want to ask questions that are linked to your custom fields. Or at the bottom, you can just add form specific fields, which are questions that you can just create for this form. So that would be the donation amount. Next up, we're going to go to prompt recurring. So prompt recurring essentially means that when a donor attempts to proceed with a one-time donation, a prompt will appear asking the donor to consider making a donation of a lower amount, but on a recurring basis. So you can go ahead and add a header here. You can add the body of what you wanted to say, and then you can suggest here the percentage of the initial gift. You can customize the suggested percentage, and then you can decide to show this for gifts under $500, or you can customize the amount depending on what you're looking for your organization's donations. After prompt recurrent, we have contact details. So this is where you can decide which options you want for the contact information that you want from the donor. So in this case, automatically you're going to get first name, last name, and email address. And you're going to have this one here where it says, I am donating as a company. So if there's a company donation, you can click over here. And then to the right here, you're going to see something called express payment. And this is something that you can turn on if you have PayPal as one of your payment processors. So you can turn it on to use PayPal's express payment. And in theory, using PayPal's express payment means that we're going to go ahead and grab that information from PayPal instead. You can also go ahead and add more fields here if you want to get more information from the donor. So you can click here, add fields, and this would be all the fields that you can add. And you can also get access to your custom fields if you want, or you can also add a more text over here, another question, and subscription opt-in if you want to get subscribe me to your newsletter there. And if you want to add more personal information, let's say that you want their birth date, you can add that over there. Contact info like let's do like phone number if you also want that. So that would be information that you can add there as well. And if you're not sure where a form field is, you can use the search bar here at the top. And then you can edit the fields of how this shows up and if there's any description, if it's a required field or not, that for your form. And then you can also at the bottom, you can turn on and off for the donating as a company. So if you do not want company donations, you can turn this off and that will disappear from your form. So that will be for the contact details. Next up, we have address. And in this one, you can just go ahead and ask for the address of the donor. So this would be applicable for the receipt of the donation. And you can also go ahead and add more fields if you wish to ask for more information from the donor. Next up, we have payment options, and this is where you're going to go ahead and decide which payment processor you're going to choose for your form. So in the new Keela forms, you can only choose one payment processor. So you can either choose between Keela Pay, Stripe, and PayPal, so you can decide which one you want. And you can also have the ability to turn on bank transfers if you have Keela Pay. Something to keep in mind, as of right now, Keela Pay is only available for United States customers only. We're expecting this to come out for our Canadian customers sometime between the end of Q4 and the beginning of Q1 of 2023. After payment processors, we can go ahead and adjust the footer, and the footer information is going to come in from the information on your organization settings from your account. And you can decide here the clickable link color if you want to include a footer or not. That would be depending on what you prefer. And then you want to see all the visible fields that you want on your footer. And you can also go ahead and click here, edit footer information, and it's going to take you back to your organization settings where all of the information from the footer is coming from. So now that we're back on the designer, the next one that we have, so those are all the fields to go over the form. Post submit is the page that donors get when they have been completed their form. You have either two options. You can keep this page here and you can go ahead and change the image and the body text, or you can go ahead and do a custom redirect. So once they finish the form, they can go be redirected to your organization's website or something along those lines. And then the last one that we have here is the form close. So in this case, when you've closed your form for like you're not longer accepting donations here, you can go ahead and change the image and change the text information here. And then you can do go to our website and you add the link to your website. Now that your form has been ready, so we've designed all of the components over here, we're all good to go ahead and take a look at the style. So in this style, this would be where you can go ahead and change the image here. So you can go ahead and add an image that aligns with what you want for your organization's donation form. You can also change the settings of the image here, form alignment, you can customize it here, and then you can also change the button colors, the primary one and the secondary one. You can adjust it to the colors of your organization's color palette if you want. So that would be where you can edit that. And then here at the top, you can see that you can view your form, how it's going to look like on desktop, and you can also view it on mobile, how it's going to look like, and then you can scroll down to see what the donor will see when they're looking at it on their mobile. That your form is all ready, we're now go ahead and we can go into the settings tab, and this would be where we can go ahead and publish your form so that we can get the coding to embed your form. So you can click here, publish form, and this is going to make your form public. So in this case, you have the public link, which is the link that we give you to access the form. So if we go ahead and open that link, it's going to take you to this form. We're going to give you a QR code. So this is only available for standalone forms. And then we're going to give you the coding here to add the embed button into your website. And if you want to go ahead and embed your form into your website, we would need to go ahead with a embedded form so that you can get the coding for specifically embedding your form into your website. And then at the bottom, we have the settings of the form. So you can turn on or off social sharing, and you have your Facebook and Twitter link there. You can allow here for receipt settings. You can allow contacts to group donation receipts together if they're making recurring donations. So you can turn that on or off. So you can either decide a single receipt or a cumulative receipt for the default option. If your donation form also the transaction includes an advantage, you can go ahead and set that up here. If you have Google Analytics, this is where you're going to see the tracking information for your Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. You can also go ahead and auto tag contacts. So if you want the contacts that fill in this form to have a specific tag, you can go ahead and do that here. Then we have form field replacement logic, and this is how if a contact that already exists in your Keela account submits a form response, you can decide here how you want that and new information to be updated on the contact. So you can always have always replace, only update empty fields, or always create a new contact. We recommend doing always replace, as if the contact submits any new information, it's automatically going to update your contact's information in Keela. And then at the bottom, we have assignee and followers. So you can see that I am the assignee, and then you can add in any followers here. So let's say that I want Travis to be the follower. You can go ahead and add that over there as well. One of the last things that I wanted to show you on this video for forms would be the settings tab for the form sharing for a form that's going to be embedded. So this is an embedded form that I've created, and then you can see that you get the master code and then the embed script. And this would be the things, the coding that you take to your website in order to be able to link the form there. And then you can also insert here the URL for your website when your form is going to be added, so that you can enable sharing options when you share this form on your email marketing or other aspects of Keela. You can have that link over there.